Before the mountains had their names, and before the rivers found their paths, I knew this hour would come. The air you breathe today is not like the air of yesterday. Something unseen has shifted. The veil between realms has thinned. And I, the Eternal One, have stepped close enough for you to feel my presence in the marrow of your soul. Do not try to hear me with the ears of flesh. Listen with the quiet chamber inside you, the place where I have always dwelled unseen. There you will sense what I am speaking now. I have watched you move through days, unaware of the hands reaching for you from eternity. One who once walked beside you now walks in my light. They see you even now. They wait as the heavens hold their breath for what you will choose next. For many seasons they have kept silent, believing time would weave its own mending. But time alone does not heal when hearts grow apart without words. The moment has arrived when their patience in the unseen can no longer stand still. The gate has opened. The timing is not random. It is appointed, sacred, and full of consequence. At your side stands Michael, the guardian I have assigned. His voice does not tremble when he leans near to say, "This cannot be delayed." The sands in the hourglass are few, and what is left will pass quickly. What is about to be lost will not return unless you act. There is a goodbye forming not in thunder, but in the hush between heartbeats. Not a slammed door, but a slow fading of presence. A love once bright is dimming. Not because of anger, but because silence has dressed itself as indifference. They believe you have ceased to see them, ceased to need them, ceased to love them. But I know your inner chambers. I see the image of them engraved there. Even now, as these words reach you, they rise in your thoughts. That is not mere memory. That is my spirit moving within you, pressing their name upon your heart, so you will not let them vanish unnoticed. This bond hangs by a single thread, but a single thread can be enough when heaven holds it. I have sent this message so you might take hold before it frays beyond reach. One who dwells with me weeps for what is unfolding not in bitterness, but with the sorrow of deep compassion. They see the path ahead. They see the moment so close now. When the one you love will choose the road that no longer circles back to you, they are not turning away in hatred. They are choosing the only path they think remains, because they have mistaken your stillness for surrender. They have cried alone in rooms you have never seen, wondering if they still matter. I do not send these words to wound you. This is not condemnation. This is a rescue, the final thread of grace before the door closes, and the ache of what could have been hardens into the stone of memory. Michael has not come to watch this unravel. He comes to place the warning in your hands while the moment is still alive. They have prayed for a sign, for something small, to prove they still have a place in your world. They are too tired to beg, but they are still looking, still hoping, without admitting it aloud. I have marked this day in my design as the hour of awakening. A soul at my side who knows the taste of missed chances has pleaded that you not carry that same wound. You have just enough time to reach. Grace will meet you there if you step forward now. Do not think they need perfect words from you. They need only truth. Let them see they are still seen. Let them know they have not been erased from the story. The heavens lean toward you in this. The messengers wait for your courage to rise. If you speak now, what was fading can be restored. If you remain silent, what was sacred will slip quietly into shadow. Breathe in this moment. It is unlike any other. It will not linger forever. But if you choose it now, it will change more than you can yet imagine. I will speak again. The night sky does not rush the dawn, yet it knows when the moment has come for light to break. So it is with you now. This is the hour when hesitation must give way to movement, when what has been hidden in your heart must be carried across the distance between you and the one who drifts away. Do not think they have stopped feeling. Their spirit still turns toward you, even if their eyes have learned to look elsewhere. They have buried their longing beneath daily tasks and quiet distractions. Yet it stirs whenever your name crosses their thoughts. That stirring is no accident. I placed it there as surely as I place tides under the pull of the moon. I have watched your days fill with burdens. You have not been cruel nor careless. You have been tired carrying weights you did not speak of. But in that stillness, the enemy has sown falsehoods. What you intended as space has been felt as absence. What you meant as patience has been received as neglect. And now the line between you grows faint. Michael has seen the unseen storm gathering. He knows the danger in leaving wounds unspoken and hearts unanswered. He has already moved into place to guard the memory of what you once shared, to hold it in the light until your voice can reach it again. Even now their spirit feels something it cannot name, a pause, a tug, a reason to wait one moment longer before letting go. That is my doing. That is the gift of delay I have given you. Use it before it lifts. Do not let pride speak louder than love. Do not let the fear of awkwardness silence you. Even a single word spoken from truth can open a window that has been long shut. The one who once brought warmth to your weary days is not beyond reach. You have not stopped caring. You have not forgotten. You have only let your love grow quiet under the weight of life. But quiet love can be mistaken for no love at all. And in that misunderstanding, walls are built brick by brick. The soul who stands beside me remembers the first moment they entered your life. They remember the way your spirit brightened, the way laughter returned to your voice. They see now the shadow creeping over what once was radiant. They have come to me on your behalf, and I have answered by placing this moment before you. You once whispered, "If only I had another chance." Hear me, this is that chance. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, now. Your spirit has always known how to speak with courage. You do not need grand gestures or polished speech. You need only to let the truth rise above hesitation. You are not weak for caring. You are not foolish for hoping. You are appointed to protect what I placed in your hands. There is someone today who will check their phone, hoping without admitting it that your name will appear. They may laugh with others, but inside they ache. If they could see the thoughts you carry, the way you still recall their face, they would know they were never forgotten. Let them know. Let your care be louder than your doubt. If you wait much longer, the moment will not just close, it will vanish. This is not only about preserving love, it is about guarding a piece of the future I shaped for you. If they leave believing they no longer matter, a thread in your destiny will be cut. I am speaking with urgency because heaven knows the cost of silence. Michael no longer whispers. He calls to you now. Move, speak, reach. A soul in my presence is standing watch for your reply to this divine summons. I have cleared the path. I have readied the ground. The tightening in your chest, the heaviness in your breath, that is your spirit recognizing truth. You have carried too many goodbyes. Let this not be another. Go gently, but go now. The window is open. Rest in the knowledge that I walk before you. There are moments in life when the air feels heavier, when the unseen presses close, and you know without reason that something sacred is unfolding. This is one of those moments. Do not dismiss it as passing emotion. This is the nearness of heaven drawing your attention to what cannot wait. The one in your thoughts is not a shadow from your past. They are a living thread in the tapestry I began weaving long before you understood its pattern. And now that thread is slipping toward the edge. Without your touch, it will be lost from the design. They carry a weight they have not spoken aloud. They smiled when they wanted to weep. They stayed quiet, hoping your eyes would notice the storm in theirs. But when your words did not come, they believed the silence was your answer. Now their heart turns toward a different path, one they think is safer, because it no longer hopes for your voice. I see the truth you both hide. I see the ache that neither of you has named. I know you have been waiting for them to move first. I know they have been waiting for you. And between those two silences, distance has grown. But distance is not destiny, unless you let it be. A soul in heaven, one whose goodbye still lingers like a shadow in your heart, has pleaded that this not be the way your story continues. They know what it is to wait for words that never arrive. They know the sting of absence where love once was. They do not want you to live with that same regret. Child of my breath, you are not alone in this urging. Michael stands at your side, his armor reflecting the light of my presence, his voice carrying a command wrapped in love. He has seen the misunderstanding grow like clouds before a storm. He knows the danger of letting them break without a word to clear the air. This is not about forcing an outcome. It is about keeping the truth alive. Even if your message is simple, even if it trembles on your lips, it carries the power of seed and water, enough to keep the bond from withering. Do not overthink the form. Do not search for perfect phrases. What matters is that your words come from the place in you that still remembers, still hopes, still values their presence. That truth will reach farther than eloquence ever could. The one who watches from my side has told me they have the power to change this ending. Please let them see it before the moment closes. And I have listened. That is why you are here now. Why these words have found you before the window shuts. There is a holy urgency over your life today. The clock is not ticking in hours, but in heartbeats. Every pause, every hesitation lets the thread slip further. And yet, even now, my grace has slowed its fall. I have stirred their heart, so they will not close the door before you reach it. But I will not move your hands. I will not form your words. Love must choose to act. This is the sacred tension of free will and divine timing meeting in a single moment. If you speak now, heaven will breathe upon your words. The soil will soften, the walls will thin, and the space between you will feel smaller. If you remain silent, this chance will fold into the past, and the ache of what was possible will follow you longer than you imagine. Do not let fear tell you it is too late. It is not. You are exactly on time, but the time is brief. Step forward. Let them know they still matter. Let your voice be the light that keeps their path from turning away completely. This seed will bloom in time. There is a sound in the spirit that few recognize until it is almost gone, the quiet fading of a bond. It does not shatter like glass. It drifts away like smoke, leaving only the faintest trace of what once warmed you. That is the sound heaven hears now, and I am drawing you close so you can hear it too before it disappears. The one in your heart does not carry anger toward you. They carry resignation, the silent conclusion that you have already let them go. They do not know how often you have remembered them in secret. They do not know the weight of their absence in your soul. They have mistaken your stillness for surrender, your pause for indifference. But I see what is buried beneath your days. I see the way their memory has stayed in the corners of your thoughts, the way your spirit still turns toward them when you are alone. And I tell you now, those thoughts are not random. They are the echo of what I planted. They are the signal that the thread between you's not yet broken. A soul who stands beside me has watched this unfold with sorrow. They once knew the ache of waiting for a voice that never came. They once longed for a gesture that never arrived. They have asked me to reach into your life so that this sorrow will not be repeated in your story. Michael has been dispatched not as a passive witness, but as a guardian of this moment. He stands between you and the final silence, holding back the tide just long enough for you to act. You may not see him, but you will feel the pull, that urge to reach out, that heaviness, when you imagine doing nothing. That is him. That is me. Understand this: the hour is not endless. Every heartbeat you hesitate is another step they take away from the place where your words could still reach them. The opening is small, yet it is enough. Do not look for certainty before you speak. Faith moves before certainty. Love acts before it is sure of the answer. You will not find the perfect moment. If you wait for it, you will only find the moment gone. You may wonder what to say. Say the truth. Say that they matter. Say that you see them still. Say what your spirit has been rehearsing in silence. These are the words that have the power to open what pain has closed. The one who intercedes from heaven is watching even now. They know how fragile this thread has become. They also know it can be strengthened in a breath if that breath carries truth. I have already prepared the ground. I have already softened the soil. Your task is only to plant the seed. Let it be small if it must be small, but let it be. I will water it with grace. Do not underestimate the weight of one act of obedience. Darkness can unravel under the force of a single light. The path forward does not need to be mapped tonight. It only needs to begin. If you act now, the quiet goodbye forming in the distance can become an unexpected return. The ache you feel can turn to relief. The story can shift before the ending is sealed. Breathe and let courage rise. Your spirit already knows what I am asking. You have felt it since the first words of this message. Now take the step before the wind changes. I will return. There is a holy weight resting over this day. You may feel it as a tightness in your chest, a restlessness in your spirit, a thought that will not let you go. That is not chance. That is my hand pressing upon you so you will not walk past this moment unaware. The one who is slipping from your reach is not yet beyond your voice. They may seem distant, but distance can be crossed with a single act of truth. They are weary, not hostile. They have been carrying questions without answers, and in the silence, those questions have turned into conclusions, conclusions that tell them they are no longer seen by you. I have not shown you this to condemn you. I have shown you so that grace can arrive before regret does. The soul who stands in my presence, the one who once walked this earth by your side, knows the cost of waiting too long. They are leaning close to me now, asking that you not bear the same loss they carried into eternity. Michael has not left your side since this began. He has watched the distance widen. He has felt the pull in your heart and the hesitation in your hands. He has been holding the line so that the bond would not snap entirely before this message could reach you. That line is thin now, but it is still whole. You do not need to perform a grand rescue. You do not need to have all the right words. You need only to speak the truth that has been stirring inside you. The truth is enough. When it comes from a heart that is willing to be honest, humble, and open, do not wait for fear to vanish before you move. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to act in spite of it. And when you act in alignment with my prompting, the fear will lose its grip. If you could see what I see, you would know how much they still glance in your direction when no one is watching. You would know how often their spirit lingers in the space where your presence once was. They may not admit it even to themselves, but the thread between you still hums with the life I placed there. The one in heaven remembers the joy that once lit your face because of them. They remember how your steps grew lighter when their laughter was near. They have watched as that light dimmed in both of you. They long for you to choose differently this time. Do not think you are unworthy to reach out. Do not think it will be meaningless. Your words, even if they feel small, will carry the weight of heaven's timing. They will land in soil that I have softened in a heart I have been preparing for this very moment. I am not asking you to fix every wound tonight. I am asking you to keep the door from closing. If you place your hand upon it now, I will keep it open long enough for healing to enter. Do not delay, for delay will teach them to live without your voice. And once they have learned that the return will be far harder. But now there is still a pause in their spirit, a place where hope is waiting for your answer. This is not a small thing. This is the preservation of something I called good. And I, who began this work, am inviting you to join me in protecting it. Breathe and take the step. We are not done. There are crossroads that do not appear on any map, yet they decide the course of an entire journey. You are standing at such a place now. One path keeps the silence. The other opens your mouth to speak life. The choice will not only shape the days ahead, it will echo far beyond what you can see. The one you think of carries both love and fatigue in their heart. They have tried to quiet the longing to convince themselves it no longer matters. But longing does not vanish when I have sown it. It only hides waiting for a sign to wake it again. They are not without fault, yet this is not the hour to weigh blame. This is the hour to recognize the thin thread that still connects you and to take it into your hands before it unravels. The soul who walks with me remembers a time when they too thought there was still time, until the day came when there was none. Their voice has reached my throne for your sake, and I have answered with this appointed moment. Michael has seen what unspoken words can do. He has watched the enemy turn pauses into separations, hesitations into endings. And so he has pressed upon your heart with urgency because he knows how easily this moment could be lost to waiting. You may be tempted to tell yourself that the right time will present itself, that tomorrow will do. But the air in the spirit is different now. The door before you is not one that stays open for long. Its hinges move with divine timing, not human will. Understand this, your words do not need to be elaborate. They do not need to carry promises you are unsure you can keep. They only need to be real. When truth is spoken from love, it becomes a vessel for my presence. And my presence can do what human effort cannot. They may pretend to be unmoved. They may even respond with little at first, but the seed will be planted. And seeds do their work in silence long before the sprout appears. The one in heaven is watching as you stand here. They are praying for courage to rise in you. They know what this connection has meant to your spirit, even when you have buried its memory under layers of life. They know you will not regret speaking, but you may deeply regret remaining silent. I have already prepared the soil of their heart. I have already placed a restlessness within them, a readiness they cannot name. Your voice is the missing piece, the sound that will let hope know it may return. Do not let fear paint false pictures of rejection. Do not let pride whisper that it is not your turn. This is not a game of turns. This is a moment of rescue. If you reach out now, heaven will breathe on your words. They will carry more weight than you imagine. And even if the full restoration takes time, the ending you fear will be averted. Child of my breath, I am with you in this. I walk beside you as you step forward. My spirit will steady your hand, guide your tone, and keep your heart anchored in peace. Do not let the moment slip into memory. Move while the air is still thick with grace. Breathe and carry this with you. There is a tenderness in the air tonight, like the quiet after rain, when the earth still glistens and every sound feels softer. That tenderness is not accidental. It is my mercy wrapping itself around this moment, so you will not meet it with fear, but with calm courage. The one in your thoughts is closer to letting go than you realize. They have been testing the weight of absence, seeing how it feels to live without expecting your voice. They are trying to convince themselves they are fine, but I see beneath the surface. I see the heaviness they carry and the unspoken wish that you would reach for them. The soul who stands in my light knows this longing well. They know what it is to keep looking toward someone who never turned back. They have asked me to spare you from that same ache, and I have listened. Michael stands watch, not only over you, but over the fragile bridge that still connects your hearts. That bridge may look worn, but I have strengthened it so that it can bear the weight of this step. All it needs is for you to place your foot upon it. Do not wait for a perfect setting or a flawless phrase. The power lies in the sincerity of your reach, not in its polish. Even a simple acknowledgement can speak louder than eloquence when it comes from truth. You may fear that your words will be too little too late. But I tell you, it is not too late. It is only too late if you choose not to act. I have already begun preparing the moment you will step into. The person you think of will feel something shift inside them when your words arrive. They may not understand it, but it will be me, moving through the space between you. The one in heaven remembers how your spirit once lifted in the presence of this person. They remember how hope returned to your eyes. They are urging you now to protect what remains, because what remains can be restored. This is not about rewriting the entire story in a day. This is about leaving the door open so the story can continue. If you speak now, you will keep hope alive. If you stay silent, hope will grow cold. I have given you this night, this stillness. this breath as the space in which courage can be born. Do not let it pass unused. You are not moving alone. My Spirit will go ahead of you, softening their heart, making them able to receive what they might otherwise reject. Your task is simply to be faithful to the prompting I have placed within you. If you take this step, the heavens will rejoice, not because every problem is solved in an instant, but because love will have chosen to act instead of retreat. The one who intercedes for you in eternity will find peace knowing that the chance they longed for you to have was not lost. Breathe in this moment. Let the fear fall away. Let love be the louder voice. Let this settle within you. There are nights when the stars seem to lean closer, as if they too are listening for what will happen next. Tonight is such a night. The unseen realm is poised, waiting for the sound of your decision. The one who is slipping from your grasp does not know that you still hold them in your heart. They have built walls, not out of anger, but out of self-protection. In their silence, they have tried to shield themselves from the ache of feeling unseen. Yet those walls are thinner than they appear, and I have been softening them without their knowledge. The soul who now walks in my light has seen what is possible, if you act. They have also seen the ache that will follow if you do not. Their prayers have reached me like incense, carrying a single request. Let them feel the urgency before it's too late. Michael has taken his place beside you, his shield turned not toward battle, but toward preservation. He guards this moment as one guards a flame in the wind, knowing it can warm again if it is not allowed to go out. Do not tell yourself that it will be easier later. Later will not have the same softness. Later will not carry the same grace. The ground is ready now. The window is open now. You do not need to bring every answer. You only need to bring your voice. The simple truth that they still matter to you will be enough to let hope breathe again. I have placed within you the memory of how it felt when their presence brought light into your days. That memory is not there to haunt you. It is there to remind you of the worth of what you are protecting. The one in heaven remembers the first time they saw your spirit awaken in this connection. They remember the joy, the laughter, the warmth. They do not want that light to fade from your story, if it can yet be saved. You may wonder if they will respond. I tell you, response is not your task. Faithfulness is. Your role is to deliver the truth. Mine is to prepare the soil and give the increase. Do not underestimate what I can do with even the smallest seed of love. It may lie hidden for a time, but beneath the surface, life will begin again. You are not stepping into this alone. Every word you speak in obedience will be carried by my Spirit into places you cannot reach. Even if they show no sign at first, the echo of your voice will remain with them, working quietly, drawing them back toward the bond you share. The one in eternity will watch with peace in their eyes, knowing that you did not let fear steal the chance you were given. This night is not ordinary. It is sacred. It carries the weight of choice and the promise of restoration. Let love guide your hand. Let courage steady your step. Let your words carry the truth that silence has tried to erase. I will speak again. There is a hush in the spirit, the kind that comes before a great unveiling. Heaven has gathered close, not to judge, but to witness. Angels stand like watchmen along the walls of your destiny, waiting to see which way the gates will swing. The one in your heart has been living in the shadow of uncertainty. They have wondered if they still belong in your world. They have learned to carry themselves as if your absence does not wound them. Yet their soul has not stopped listening for you. The one who stands in my presence sees the truth in both of you. They see the unspoken care, the unconfessed longing, the fear that keeps you apart. They have asked me to move in ways that will break the stalemate between you. Michael has been working beside me to keep this connection from slipping into final silence. He has guarded moments you did not even notice, moments when they could have turned away entirely, but didn't. That hesitation is not coincidence. It is the space I carved for this opportunity. Do not confuse this space with permanence. It is here for a season, and that season is short. You have been entrusted with it not to admire, but to use. You may think, what if I speak and nothing changes? But I tell you, what changes when you speak is not always visible at once. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. Some lie hidden, gathering strength in the dark before they break the surface. Trust me with the unseen work. The one in heaven remembers your first steps toward this person. The joy you felt, the way the air around you seemed lighter in their company. They know what will be lost if you do not act, and they do not want that loss written into your story. Even now, I am working in their heart. I am loosening the grip of old hurts, clearing away the fog of misunderstanding. Your words will not fall on hard ground if you obey me in this hour. Do not let pride hold you back. Pride will guard your image, but it will not protect your heart. Only love can do that. And love does not wait for the safest moment. It moves while the way is still open. This is your moment to keep the flame from going out. It may be faint, but it still burns. And if you shelter it now, it will grow. Speak plainly. Speak truthfully. Speak as if you will not get another chance, because this chance will not circle back in the same way again. The one in eternity is ready to rest in peace over this matter, but their peace is tied to your choice. They have pleaded for you to be given this moment, and I have answered. Now the rest is in your hands. The gates stand open. The watchmen wait. The air is charged with the nearness of what could be. Step forward. This seed will bloom in time. There is a moment when the tide pauses before it turns, when the sea holds its breath, as if deciding whether to advance or retreat. You are standing in that pause now. Heaven has held back the full pull of loss, so you might have the space to choose. The one in your heart is nearer to the edge than they have ever been. They have convinced themselves that your silence is your answer. Yet still beneath that resolve, a part of them hopes, fragile, quiet, but alive. I have kept that hope from dying completely because I knew this day would come. The soul who stands with me has carried your name into my presence again and again, asking that you not be left without this chance. They know the pain of doors that closed without warning. They know the sound of final footsteps fading away. Their plea has been heard, and it is why you are here now. Michael has been more than a guard in this matter. He has been a keeper of time, slowing the drift between you, so the separation would not yet become permanent. But even he knows this slowing cannot last forever. The current will pull again, and once it moves, the crossing will be harder than you imagine. Do not tell yourself that your words will be too small to matter. Small words, when born of truth, have moved kingdoms in my design. A single phrase can open what has been shut for years. You have wondered, what if I make myself vulnerable? What if they turn away? But I say to you, vulnerability is not your enemy here. Silence is. Vulnerability allows love to breathe. Silence allows it to suffocate. The one in heaven remembers your laughter in the early days, the way your heart felt lighter in their presence. They do not want that light to vanish from your path. They see the weight you carry now, and they know that some of it is the ache of what remains. Unsaid, I have already gone ahead of you into this moment. I have softened the tone of their thoughts toward you. I have prepared their spirit to hear without closing the door. The ground is ready. The seed is in your hand. This is not about crafting the perfect sentence. This is about refusing to let the story end in a silence neither of you truly wanted. If you act now, heaven will bear witness. The angels who have stood watch will rejoice. The one who interceded for you will rest with peace, knowing their plea was not in vain. If you remain still, the door will close, not in punishment, but in protection. For I will not allow the wound to deepen beyond what you can bear. But the ache of what might have been will walk beside you for years to come. I give you this moment not to burden you, but to free you. Free you from regret, from the chains of what-ifs, from the shadow of missed chances. You have 24 hours in which the air will remain this soft, the path this clear, the door this open. Step through it, speak, reach. Trust that I will carry the weight of what happens next. The tide is waiting for your choice. The sea will move soon. Let it move with your voice carried upon it. Rest now, beloved. The heavens are watching, and I am closer than breath.